Hey guys, it's Steve here. Today I'm going to show you how to create your shipping plan for Amazon FBA if you have a private label product. So if you've done online or retail arbitrage, the process of setting up the shipment is more or less the same. It's just the way that you add inventory to your shipping plan is slightly different. So this is more for if you've got a private label product, and a few people get a little bit confused when they first do this, how to create their shipping plan so that they can get their stuff sent into Amazon as soon as possible. So first thing you need to do is go to Seller Central. So I mainly use the UK platform, so I'm here on sellercentral.amazon.co.uk. The other country Amazon pages look pretty much the same. So you want to go up here, up to the sign in here, and then what you want to do is get yourself logged into your Amazon Seller Central account. So if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to just get myself signed in, and then we'll go from there. There's a couple of ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you the way that I normally do it. I find it easier. So I want to hover up to the function bars up here on the top left of the page, and I'm hovering over inventory, which will give me a few drop-down options. So what I want to do is click on Manage Inventory. This will take me to my inventory page, and then it's just a case of finding my private label that I want to send in and moving all the way over to the right hand side where you'll see an edit button. Now I don't actually want to click on that edit button. I want to click on the two arrows. One that looks like one's pointing up, one is pointing down. If I click on that, it will bring up a list of things that I can go to. But the thing that I want to do is create also to send and / replenish inventory. Now, what you might find when you first set up your listing is that it may give you the option to change to fulfilled by Amazon. Mine says change to fulfill by merchant, and that's because I'm already selected with Amazon FBA. So if yours says change to fulfill by Amazon, you must click that first. That will take you through a few pages. For your first time, it'll give you a few terms and conditions to sign up to. And once you've done that, you just need to find yourself back to your inventory page and to select these options again. So mine's already set up for that. So I'm going to click on Send / Replenish Inventory here, about nearly halfway down the page. So once I click that, it's going to redirect me to a page to create my shipping plan. So I've got the option to either create a new shipping plan or add to an existing shipping plan. So because this is the first time I'm setting up the shipping plan, I want to use the new option. You'll be given the option where you want to send it from. So if you're sending from your home address, you want to make sure that that's correct. There is the option to ship from another address or to add an address if it's your first time using Amazon. So this is wherever your goods are stored. So it's probably going to be your home address, but if you're using a third-party prep center, you want to put in their address. You want to make sure that the marketplace destination is correct. So my main storage centers I want it stored in the UK, so that's absolutely fine. I can leave it as it is. And then I've got the item packaging type. So you've got two choices. One's the individual products, and one is case packed items. So individual products is probably what you'll do if you do online and retail arbitrage, because you'll have probably a mix of different types of items, and then you can just stick them all in the same box. The private label, you may have this if you've got maybe a couple of variants that you're testing, a couple of angles, so they might be slightly different. So if that's the case, then make sure that you select individual products. If all of your items are the same and you've got the same quantity of units in each box, so say that you ordered 100 units, you're able to fit them in 4 boxes, you could put case packed items, and then in the next section you'll be able to put 25 in each. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the individual products. It doesn't really change things too much. It's more or less the same for the case backed items. So once I've just made sure all of that is correct, I want to click here to the continue to shipping plan. So once that loads up, it's going to show me my private label item here under product name. Because I've already sent stuff in, it already knows that the condition is new, and it's got the merchant SKU code. So I don't need to change anything there. But I do need to put in how many units I am intending to send into Amazon FBA. So for this example, I'm going to pretend that I've got 100 units that I'm going to send in. So I just type in this box here, 100, and then we will click on continue. So once we've done that, it will ask us what preparation we require. So the first thing we need to do is find this column here called prep guidance, and it will give us the option to choose a category. So if you click on that, you've got a drop down that you're able to select. So if you need a bit of an explanation, just to make sure if you're not 100% sure, if you just select one of them, it will give you some pictures of some example products that are in that category, and it will give you some prep guidance. So probably the most common one is if you have a product that contains any sort of fabric, perhaps you're selling a bag or a blanket or something along those lines, you need to make sure that the product is going to arrive in a transparent bag to protect it from damage or dust. But they also must have a suffocation warning. It doesn't matter if the product is intended for children or not. It just needs a simple suffocation warning printed clearly in English on the bag, and just to warn people not to leave children unsupervised with it. The bags must be secured if they're not self-adhesive. So if they're not self-adhesive, just use some sellotape would be fine. And the barcode must be scannable. So if you've already applied barcodes yourself, or you've had your manufacturer applied the barcodes to the packaging or the actual product, then you need to make sure that's visible, and so that the staff at Amazon can scan it. So my product doesn't have any of these requirements. It's not a baby product, it's not powder, it's not fragile or anything like that. So if it doesn't fall into any of these special categories, you just need to select no prep needed. Once you've done that, just click on choose. You then you need to advise Amazon who's going to prepare. So if there's no prep needed, there won't be an option. What you can do, if you have a product, say for example, the fabric item. So I'll just show you what that does. You'll be given the option of who's going to prepare it. So if everything's okay and you've already prepared it in those requirements, then you can just leave it as seller. However, if you haven't done it, or you just want the reassurance you want it done properly, you just select Amazon. They will then advise you how much the preparation cost will be. So to put it in those clear plastic bags with suffocation warnings, at the moment, Amazon will charge it for 25 pence per unit. So for 100 units, it's going to be an extra £25 that'll be added to my Amazon fees. So yeah, we're gonna select back the no prep needed. That just leave that blank, and then we will click on continue. So once you've done that, you'll be given the option to label the product. So for my product, I already have the barcodes printed on the packaging. If you would require Amazon to apply labels on your behalf, it's exactly the same as the last thing I just showed you. You'll be able to select Amazon as the label provider, and then you'll be able to, they will tell you how much it will cost. So at the moment, it's 15 pence per unit that they have to label. So once you've done that, you just need to click on continue. It will then ask you to review your shipment. So I don't need to add anything. I'm happy that I've done everything I needed to do for now. You can change the name of the FBA shipment if you like, but if not, you just leave it and it will just put in the date and the time you're creating the shipment. The MSKUs here are which different types of product you're sending in. So I'm only sending in one type of private label product, so that's fine. Just double check, yeah, 100 units, and then it says ship to man free, which is what the code for the FBA prep center. So you don't have any control over which prep center it's going to be sent to. They take into account where you are based in the UK. They also use special algorithms to work out where the most likely place is going to be useful to have your products, somewhere easy that so that they can fulfill it by prime to customers. They may move, they may split it once it arrives at one FBA center and move it around. You don't need to worry about that though. So that's just giving us the information that's going to the Bolton Centre. So once you're happy with that, you can approve the shipment. If you do need to double check anything, you can click here the few shipment contents if you want to break it down a bit more, or you can go back up here and you can go back to the sections that we were just on. But if you're happy with that, you just want to click on approve shipment. That'll take a couple of minutes depending on how many things you're sending in. I'm only sending in the one type of item, so it should load fairly quickly. And there we go. So it's now created the shipment ID, and it's basically just telling us what we just saw. So then what we need to do is work on the shipment. So this is the page it takes us to. So we've got a number of sections that we have to fill out. So the first section is the shipment contents, and that is the step that we have just done. So if you've come to this point and you realized that you need to maybe amend the amount of units you're sending in, or you need to send in more than one type of private label, you can click on this button here to review and modify the units, and it'll take you back to the pages that we were just on. And then you can just do it again and then carry on once that's done. But if you're happy that you've done everything you needed to so far, you just need to move to the delivery service. So unless you are sending in pallets of your product, it's more likely that you're going to have just some boxes that you want to send in. So if that's the case, you just need to make sure that small parcel delivery, or SPD, is selected, which it should be by default. So you can leave it as that. And then you can select the carrier. So you've got a couple of other options. The first option is to use the Amazon partner carrier, which in the UK is UPS. That tends to be the same no matter what country you're using. I believe in Germany you also have the option to use DHL, but for the most part we'll be using UPS. They give us a discounted ground shipping. They have a special deal with UPS, so it's a lot more economical. And it's all integrated with the Amazon system, so it's really easy to do. If for whatever reason you were using another carrier, you just need to click on other carrier here, and from the drop down select what company you're going to use. So you may have an account with, if you've already got an existing business with one of these other shipping companies. If your company isn't displayed, you can click other. But for the most part, I would recommend that you stick with the UPS option. It's just the most simple and I find the most economical way. So once you've done that, you just need to move down to section 3, which is the shipment packaging. So this is where some people can get a bit confused, but honestly, if you do it properly, once you've done it a few times, you'll become so used to it, you won't need to worry about it. So first thing you need to do is you need to select how will the shipment be packed. So you're given two options. If you've got one big box you've been able to fit everything into, then that's great. You just click on everything in one box, and then it'll just give you the option to put in the box weight and the box dimensions. If you are with private label, you tend to be sending in quite a few units at a time. So it may be that you're sending in maybe 2, 3, 4, or even more boxes. If that's the case, then select multiple boxes. What's quite handy with the multiple boxes is that you don't have to necessarily have the same size and weight box. So you might have, I don't know, 75 in one box and then 25 in another. If that's the case and the box configuration is slightly different, you just need to select this option here, which is add another box configuration. You then need to just put how many units in each box. So for this example, say I had 75 in one box and 25 in another. Oops, 25 there. And then I have one box of 75 and a one box of 25. The total quantity is confirmed here. And then you put in the box weight. So say this was 10 kilos and this one was 2.5. Just making this up. So, and then we can say, I don't know, 20 by 20 by 20, 30 by 30 by 30. So whatever your configuration is, and then you can add more configurations if you've got more boxes. So luckily for me, I've only got the one box. So I'm going to select everything in one box. Then it will just load. And then I just say I'm going to be sending in, it's going to weigh 12 kilos. And it is measured 50 centimeters by 20 by 20, or whatever your box may be. So once you've confirmed that, you need to press confirm. And then you'll get a message to say that your contact information has been successfully submitted. So the next section to go down to is the delivery charges. So what you need to do first is click on calculate. So because we selected UPS in the section 2, then it's going to use the United Parcel Service, or UPS. It's confirming that I'm sending one box in at 12 kilos. And then that gives me the estimated delivery cost of £3.63. So usually if you've got a box below 15 kilos and it's a standard size box, no bigger than 60 by 60 by 60, it will usually be around £5, maybe a little bit less. They've just updated it recently, so they do it by volume rather than just by a standard size. So what you need to do is make sure that you agree to the terms and conditions. This is just Amazon covering themselves to explain that this is handled by UPS, so it's a different company. If you want to read the terms and conditions, just click on the hyperlinks here and you'll be taken to the page. So if you're happy to accept those charges, you need to click on here, accept the charges, and that will load. So what that's done is it's integrated, the system's actually integrated with UPS, so you don't have to pay UPS separately to handle your FBA package. Now, what that means is you've got 24 hours. So if for whatever reason you decided that you weren't going to, you needed to cancel your shipping plan and redo it, you've only got 24 hours to void the charges. Otherwise, UPS will bill Amazon, and then in turn Amazon will bill you, and you won't be able to get a refund on that. So for whatever reason you need to cancel before that 24 hours, yeah, make sure you do that, and you do this, you can avoid charges. So finally, we get to section 5. So these are the delivery labels. So once you've confirmed the box configurations and you've confirmed the delivery charges, you'll be then given the option to print the box labels. So you just click on the yellow button here. It will open up a new internet tab, and it will create a PDF. So the right-hand side of the PDF is the FBA label, which Amazon staff will use to check in your box and to track it through the process of your products being checked into the warehouse stock. And then on the left-hand side is the UPS label. So you need to make sure that this, by standard, will be printed on an A4 sheet of paper. If you don't have sticky back paper, that's absolutely fine. Just print it onto a normal sheet of A4 paper and then just sellotape all 4 sides onto the box. But it needs to be placed on a section of the box which is prominent, but do not apply it over any of the seals that the staff are going to have to break open to get to your products, because you don't want this label damaged until your products have been checked in. So once you've done that, So you can print that off. You don't have to print it off straight away. You could leave that for now, but I like to print it off and then it's ready to go. And then once you've done that, you'll be given the option to complete the shipment. Okay, great. So what do you do now? So we need to obviously get it from the property where the products are into Amazon via UPS. So there is two ways that you can do this. The first way is to go to the UPS website. So if you just click on ups.com and you type that into your search bar, and you'll eventually end up at their website. So if you haven't logged in before, it will ask you to select a region. So if you're in the UK, obviously, go over to Europe and you scroll right down to the bottom and select United Kingdom English. This will take you to the UK website. Now, once that loads, we need to arrange for Amazon to come and pick up the product. So what we do is we hover over shipping. Sorry, you click on shipping and it'll bring this drop down. So it's important that you do not do create a shipment. We've already done that through the Amazon Seller Central. We want to schedule a parcel collection. So it's really important you do that. If you do it, create a shipment, then you'll have to pay UPS, and it's more expensive doing it directly with UPS than using Amazon. So make sure you select schedule a parcel collection. So once that loads, it's going to ask you whether you have a pre-printed UPS shipping label for your shipment. Yes, we do, because this is what this is, which we're about to print out and put on our box. So what you want to do is click on, you want to put your tracking number here on this box. So if you've got multiple boxes, you can just separate them by a line and put them on. So easiest way to do that is go back into Seller Central. If you scroll here, you can see the tracking ID. It usually starts with 1ZA and then a long list of letters and numbers. So I'm just going to double click that, right click and copy, go back to the UPS website, and click on that white box, right click and paste. And there we go. So it's pasted the shipping tracking number there. If I click out of that, it will detect that we've got a track. We've already prepaid, so no further payment is required. So if you scroll down to the next section, if you've already got a UPS account, you can put your account information there, but you don't need to specifically open up a UPS account. So you just fill out your information. If it's got a star, that means it's compulsory, so make sure that you fill it out. Now, if you're sending it from your home address, make sure that you select this box here, residential address, so that the driver knows that they're not picking up from like an office block or commercial warehouses that they've got to come into a housing estate. So it just makes it easier for them. So make sure you've done that. Another thing is to make sure the telephone number you're using is valid, so that if there's any issues with coming to pick up your product or they're having trouble finding your home, they can give you a quick call. So move down to the next section, which is the service and package information. So you just need to confirm how many packages that you have got. So for me, it's 1. And then you just put the total weight of your collection. So if you're not sure what that was, if you go back to this page, you can see here. So my weight is 12 kilos. So I'm just going to put 12 here. And then what it will do is ask you whether the collection contains items that weigh more than 32 kilos. I've clicked on no. A thing to note actually is if your package, any individual package weighs over 15 kilos, 15 kilograms, you do have to put on the box a warning heavy item label. You'll be given the option to print those off at the same time when you print this off here, this shipping label, and you literally just cut them out and paste them, sellotape them to different parts of the box so that the staff know that it's a heavy item, so they don't hurt themselves trying to lift it. So then if back to this section here, once you've put in the weight and you confirm that there's not going to be way more than 32 kilos per box, you need to just make sure if you make sure that the domestic service is here. So I'm using Firefox. So by default, if you've given the option, make sure that you select standard, 48 hours, because that's this sort of the bog standard service that we will use. So you can then move on to the next section. So once you've confirmed all your details, you'll be given the option to select a collection date. So if you just click on that, the drop down, select which date that you know you'll be at home, or somebody will be at home to wait for the driver, and you put in your earliest collection time and your latest collection time, and then you can put a preferred collection location. So that's good if you're having the items picked up from work. You can select like a reception area, or the front door, and then if there's any special instructions to the driver, you can leave them there. You can also open up this section here for collection notifications. If there is any other email or mobile phone number you want to be notified once UPS have arrived to pick up the parcel. So that's quite good if you've left them in care of somebody else. So once you've done that, you click on next, and then you'll be taken to a confirmation screen to confirm that that's been booked in, and then UPS will turn up and take those items, and they will literally just scan the left-hand side of the label, and then that's it. That's all you need to do, and then they will take over the rest. They will deal directly with the Amazon Prep Center. So I did promise that there's another way that you can get your items into UPS. Now I understand that when you're working from home, that you don't, you may be working full time and you're not necessarily going to have somebody at the house the whole time. So it can be a bit of a pain waiting in for UPS to pick it up. So another thing you can do is actually drop it off to them, and you can do that in your own time. So if you go to Quick Start on the UPS website, you'll be given the option here for locations. If you click on that, you can then put in your postcode, and then click on Find Locations. So I've just put in the postcode of my parents' house. Let's have a look. So it gives me the location nearest to me, where I can drop that off. I can click on here, few or more locations, if there was other locations. Now, these tend to be found in convenience stores. Again, it takes you to the drop-off points near you, so you can put in your postcode or your maybe your work address, somewhere that you're going to drive past that's convenient for you, and then it will give you a list on the left-hand side here of the closest drop-off points plus their opening times. And then when Amazon will then do daily collections from these locations and then take them to Amazon. So that's a really convenient way if you don't want to wait in all day for UPS to come and pick up your packages. So that is it. So we're nearly done. So once you've completed the shipment process, if you want to track whereabouts your inventory is, if you go back to the Amazon Seller Central page, you can just hover over inventory and then go down to Manage FBA Shipments. It's usually the one before the last one. If you click on that, we then will be taken to the page with our shipping plans, and then we can just see the one I've just created, and it says ready to ship. So it's detected that UPS haven't picked it up. It will automatically update as it goes through the process, so that will change to shipped once the UPS have scanned it, and then you can track the whole process if you click on track shipment. So it can take anywhere between a couple of days to 2 weeks for this process to be completed. You'll be able to tell that your product is available to sell. If you go again over to the inventory section and manage FBA inventory, you'll be able to see here under the available column, if that's got numbers in it, then that means that the products are checked in and they're ready to go. So there we go. So that's your step-by-step guide how to create your shipment plan, how to print off your box label, and how to arrange for UPS to collect the items from your home address, or you can drop them off. So if there's any questions, please do get in touch. Otherwise, happy selling. Take care.